Welcome back to the PPM Winter Circle podcast. I'm your host, Hunter. Next to me in the gray is Mr. Rodney.
Hello, folks.
In the Winter Circle podcast is Mr. Randy.
Hey, folks.
And the cat in the hat is Mr. Ricky.
Here we are again.
He can say it with a straight face. Almost.
No. All right. And,
I've been called worse, ain't I?
Yeah, you've been called worse.
yeah, I got called a cow in a hat. Anyway, all right. So we got a guest with us today, and who are you?
Mike Nuchols.
All right, Mr. Mike. What do you do, sir?
Jack of all trades. Master of zero. I'm the owner of Warrior Race Cars. That's the title I've got.
There we go.
That owner name comes with that hat.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, all of it. All of it.
You sure you own it?
I'm still trying
Or
to
does
figure
it
that out.
own you?
It owns me most days. You were totally right.
Now, Mr. Mike, tell us a little bit of background about you. How did you get involved in racing?
Kind of your typical East Tennessee kid story that works in racing now. My dad raced for 15 years, and then, of course, I was like 7 or 8 when he started, so it was all the way up till I was around 15 or 16. Then he got a back injury and quit, and like any other addict, you have to figure out how to keep doing what you love. So I never quit, and then I just figured out how to stay in the business until I was able to get on to Warrior Race Cars and downhill or uphill from there, I guess you could say. Worked for Sanford for all them years, and then was able to buy the business in 18 from him.
So how did you start at Warrior?
I started as a sheet metal person. Actually applied as a welder in 05 and 06, and we took the welding test, and they didn't hire me. Scary. But then they needed a sheet metal guy, so they called me back. Yeah.
And you just go from sheet metal, then anything else during that
Man,
time?
I went from sheet metal. I was fortunate. Sanford trusted me a lot, and I went from sheet metal to traveling with him on the road doing setup stuff. Then I started setting up the house car stuff. Then he bought me everything to do shocks with and the spring smasher, so we started doing that. And then started helping out in the welding room probably like 10 years later. Started helping out in the welding room, and then I started doing parts and sales. And he just let me do every facet of the business once I was there long enough, and just started figuring it out. So it's pretty lucky. I've had a lot of older guys teach me how to do things in the business and allow me just to grow.
Yeah.
So he basically set you up to take over.
He did. I'm not on purpose, but he did. He did. It was more of a deal where it took pressure off of him. So then he allowed me to do those things, and then eventually it did work out right where I was able to take it over.
I got you. So throughout all the years, obviously you've worked there since 05 or 06. In your eyes, how much has racing changed since then to now?
Oh, it's 180. It's totally different.
What all's like some of the biggest difference from back then till now?
Oh Lord, there's not just one though. From then, we didn't even know what a spring smasher was, and then like that's all we live and die on now. That's how we set up cars.
Mm-hmm.
Shock dyno was only something that somebody very fancy had.
Yeah.
Now we all have shock dynos.
Very, very fancy.
Yeah, it was very fancy. And then, we actually had one of Freddie Smith's first Bren dynos in the shop, and it was a very huge piece of technology, about as big as this thing, and it told us very small information of stuff. I mean, we know more about shocks now. We didn't know nothing about shocks then. We didn't understand springs then. We just stuck springs on a car. When it hit the ground, we just put a stiffer one in it. It's 180.
Oh, yeah, you go back so far, and it's straight valve stuff and just oil shocks, and, yeah, it's just...
Yeah, like gas shocks really didn't come about until, 05, 06.
Yeah.
And those were like a mystery then. Nobody ran them.
Probably talk about shocks all night.
Oh, we could. I'm a geek about shocks and technology.
How much it's changed.
I mean, look at some of these old pictures of her on the wall. You'll see the nose pieces are a foot off the ground. Them racing.
Just just how much the arrows changed
Yeah.
on the car.
Yeah, the body shapes of the cars. Now, what's wild is I still use the same body side templates that we had in 07 and 08, like the same side templates. We just manipulated the cars in a different manner to make it work how we race now. Because we race in an angle. We didn't race at an angle back then and all that. I mean, you're right. Like, I was looking at your pictures out here, and it kind of reminded me of the old Goddard building. Like, just so much older car photos, and it's awesome to see that stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people Hunter's age have never seen racing like that.
No.
And don't understand how much it has changed.
We've been our own. We would take plastic. This is going even further back than what he's talking about. And we'd take plastic and cut it out and then put it in a brake and bend to make our floppers.
Yeah. Until 04, Warrior's still done that.
Yeah.
They didn't use the molded stuff that come out in '02. They still
Yeah.
done the old bin ones because they just look cooler. They didn't look like this Ray Cook model. They looked like something racy,
Yeah.
like a Batmobile type of thing.
Yeah. And take plastic skirt, make your plastic skirting, maybe put a bend on it. And,
Oh, that was so terrible because by the time you get to the racetrack and hot laps, it straightened back out.
yeah. Yeah. So it's evolved, yes.
It's changed so
drastically.
much. I don't know if we have time because he's got to go deliver FedEx to talk about all the changes. In that long time. But it has. I mean, really, like it's changed 180 since then. But we took a couple of 90-degree turns back and forth since like '09 or '10. In just just a small time, we've took a bunch of 90-degree turns back and forth on things.
Absolutely.
You're talking about shocks. And I think it was the late 90s is when I first seen my first canister style shock.
Yeah. What brand would that have been?
Coney.
Coney. Hey, I know where some of the old Rayburn style ones where you push them in and
I was
click
going
them.
to say,
I know where
Rayburn and Coney.
those are still at the old Goddard building. They're still on the shelf over there.
Yeah.
Never sold them.
That's kind of where Sanford started from Rayburn, wasn't it?
It was. It
It
was
was-
like the Warriors side started from what they called Rayburn Direct. They were actually the only
Yeah.
company that was able to build Rayburn chassis outside of Rayburn. Because Rayburn was trying to sell so many cars in the South, not everybody wanted to go to Indiana to pick them up. So that's where all that started at, is they started building Rayburns, and then they really wanted to do something of their own. And then they actually hired Lester Weeks to be the first fabricator there. It's wild how many people from East Tennessee have worked and went through the Warrior deal and then went on to do their own thing now in Tennessee or outside of Tennessee.
Yeah.
But yeah, it all started with a Rayburn dealership, and then they built their own cars, plus still sold Rayburn cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Well,
A lot of history.
I never knew that.
I'm a terrible not a terrible, but I'm a big history buff on this. I could talk about it for days.
You're
Terrible.
talking about Warrior. I had the privilege of being at Pennsboro when Marshall won the dirt track.
Really?
Won the championship.
See, that car is still in the building. I know where that car still exists. It's sitting back there halfway put
Oh,
together.
does it?
Yes.
Is it back?
Sanford found it at Marshall's. I don't know. It was right before I actually started there, and they took it, sandblasted it, recoated it, and then all the body patterns and deck was original, and it's still there. And I copied some of it and started putting it together before I purchased it, but it's still over there. He hasn't let me grab a hold of it and put it together yet. They still have the rear end out of it, the front suspension. I think they just don't have the seat.
Yeah.
It was just sitting back at a Marshall shop, just rotting away.
And the seat probably looked like a bucket.
Oh yeah, be surprised it wasn't
Hey,
fiberglass.
we could go on seats, how seats have evolved. It used to be just a piece of aluminum bent. You sat in it.
Or fiberglass, like he said.
Yeah, could have been fiberglass at that time, which is
Yeah.
wild. Had somebody text me the other night. There's a guy making titanium wheel bolts. I don't know if y'all seen that yesterday, but somebody said, "Why don't he just find some old MRT wheels if he really wants to get lightweight?
Yeah.
Fiberglass wheels, huh? Fiberglass. You couldn't race them in the cold because they'd explode."
MRT. And they had what didn't they have? The flow green, flow orange.
Flow orange.
Rings. Yeah.
We're talking about stuff you've never even seen.
Dude, I've never.
You know what?
There's
you know
probably a
what
lot
you
of
should
people
do?
that's
You're
never
dating
heard.
yourself.
Probably not.
But you're dating
you
yourself.
fellas are old.
Yeah. I'm almost senior citizen.
I've just been lucky I grew up in this sport. I'm not saying
What
I'm
is it
not old, but-
that group that keeps calling me AARP?
Yeah. That's a good discount. You got to take that.
Yeah, I get it. When I get it at 55.
And not to mention the discount you get at Captain D's.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, it's evolved. It's just you go from the leaf springs, which our dad started on, leaf springs, to what the 4-bar deal and all this stuff. It's evolved.
It's changed so much. And now what's wild, though, is we're starting to revisit some of that older stuff now. I mean, there was a swing arm car that won a Lucas race last year at East Bay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we're starting to revisit some of that stuff. And it's pretty cool how we go back and we start figuring out why we did what we did back in the day, and we can actually use it again instead of we just abandoned it because we thought it didn't work. But in reality, we just didn't know enough about it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's one of the biggest things now is we just have so much data collection that we know how and where everything goes, how it operates, and
Yeah.
it helps us be able to understand so much. That's the biggest thing that I've learned in the past 10 years is just through data collection is exactly how the car works.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty cool.
So, what are some of the common questions that you get asked from your customers, or even people that's not your customers?
Did you copy a Longhorn?
You ask.
I asked.
You asked. I think
That's
I got
not what I was
asked-
expecting.
I think I got asked that 13 times this last week at Volusia. I'm just being honest. This is just me being honest on a podcast, but that's what it is.
Doesn't
that's-
shock me at all.
That's the question of the past 2-3 years. How close is yours to a Longhorn, or how much did you copy from a Longhorn? Nothing. If I did that, I'd just go buy a Longhorn. I'd just be a Longhorn dealer.
I kind of wonder where that Longhorn come from.
It's wild if you measure if you measure a 2016 Longhorn, then you measure some old cars.
Yeah.
They're really close.
Yeah.
But I mean, you gotta look like I give Kevin a lot of credit.
He knowed where I was going, didn't he?
I've measured a lot of old cars. Yeah. They're all close. CJ Rayburn was never wrong. We're all really close. We always end up back in this same box. No matter how much.
I've always said that to people that ask this and it all goes back to Rayburn. And it all goes back to Rayburn and I would even say Bullet,
Yeah, Ray
Callahan.
Callahan.
Yeah, it always goes back to them.
Yeah, diverted from Hal, and then them two doing their own thing below under Hal, and then
Yeah.
You talked about the swing on car and the shock technology and the spring technology, and like you said, the spring smashers have. You can't sit here and say one won't work now because so much of that has changed before people just quit using it.
Yep, you're right. We abandoned that because we had no clue because this just worked.
Yeah.
And then now we can revisit it because we can know how to put pressure on the left rear and how to make side out the swing arm car and how to make it a combo car and make it work. I mean, one of the most awkward conversations I ever had was sitting in C.J. Rayburn's living room at 12:30 in the morning on my way to PRI because he asked me to stop in. And there's a whole living room full of people making fun of me because I run 4-bar cars. And they run swing arms. And at the time, nobody ran swing arms. But I'm sitting in CJ's living room. He's like, boy, you still run all them bars back to the rear end? Yeah. Well, you'll figure it out one day. Figure it out.
We could tell some.
That's a deal right there. I'd love to do. Find everybody that's been in CJ's living room
And tell their story.
Oh, man.
Everybody's got one.
That was wild. I mean, I felt bad because I pulled up there at 12:30. But he's like, no, come on in. We're all in here just sitting around. I was like, all right, yeah. We was all just sitting around.
You
Probably
remember
about 10 of us.
Spencer's story?
Yeah.
I think that one of the guys that started NADA?
NARA.
NARA, which is now Lucas Series. Spencer Wilson was kind of he'd went up there and was talking to CJ about helping him part of the Battle of Bluegrass and all that stuff. Said he went up there one morning. I'll tell this real quick. Said he went up there and said he told him what he was thinking about doing. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. Said he reared back there in his recliner. Next thing you know, he said I was asleep. And about 2 hours later, said he woke up and said, "Yeah, I'll help you do that." He said, "I just sat there while he slept."
I mean, you're kind of in the grace of the man. So what are you going to do? Run off on him?
Yeah. I know every time we used to see him, we found out that Dad had an uncle that was somehow connected, kin to him.
I ain't raced with him.
Yeah, and he thought we was cousins or something, so. But he's a smart dude. Was a smart dude, yeah.
Very, very smart dude. But yeah, I mean, like you said, just the data collection that we have now, we know where everything goes. There's no reason why we can't make anything work in the right situations. But I still think everything is situational, and that's a big thing I preach no matter what in this whole
That's
racing
what
thing.
makes it hard.
Exactly, it's
The
all
target is
situational.
constantly changing.
It is. If we did pavement racing, our life would be easier.
Yeah,
No,
got so
no
many
diss to
variables.
pavement guys. Don't make pavement guys run away from us. But
You got so many variables. Yeah.
there's too many variables. I mean, like at Volusia Saturday. Volusia, we started off crummy dirty. It latched up and rubbered by qualifying. My crate customer had a half-ball tire to qualify after 4 laps. The Supers heat raced in the rubber. They redid the racetrack. We heat raced crate in normal racetrack condition. Supers raced in the rubber again, and then they redid the racetrack, and the Supers had a hammer down wide open racetrack like it was brand new. I mean, you're right. Like, there ain't nothing that changes that much in one day. And we all had to chase that. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's the way Atomic used to be over. He was chasing.
Oh, yeah.
It turned black. Then what color would it turn?
Orange.
Orange. Just a real orange. And you say, there it is.
Slickest part of the night was qualifying.
Yeah.
You didn't know you was going to get in the retro podcast. I mean,
Now, you can go watching Billy Ogle. He was a master over there. I mean, he'd get up there and then that track would change and he's
Billy and Patrick.
gone. Yeah, it would turn just real orange. Go from black to orange.
That's rubber.
Yeah.
What's your
Next question.
Yeah, next question. I'm enjoying this.
Well, touching a little bit on what you just said and going back and learning technology about something, will Warrior ever go on a swing arm again? Or did y'all ever?
Yeah, we actually made swing arm cars. So once the Rayburn Direct deal stopped, they started building their own versions of the swing arm cars. I still have all those jigs. So, I mean, I could build another swing arm car. No problem at all. It's something if I had time. My issue is time. There's not enough of me to go test. The guys that it's Jimmy Owens who won last year at East Bay on a swing arm car. Jimmy has time to stick the swing arm back on his vehicle and go test with it. Like I tested a 411 a lot around Jimmy testing the swing arm stuff. He could drag race very well at 411. Like if we still had 411, I think he would just kill all of us right now because he could drag race really good at the swing arm stuff. But I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't. I still want to build a square rail car. You want to talk about bringing back old stuff? I want to build a square rail car because we can understand chassis flex now. And those things flexed up different. They're always good on slick tracks. So I'm not putting it away that I would never build a swing arm car again, or at least put the brackets on my car to try it. Yeah, it's just if I had time.
Combo.
Yeah, you had a combo car.
You had a combo car.
You had a 4-bar Z-Link. Then you could also make it a swing arm Z-Link, just depending on how your cage was built. The old Warrior books are about this thick for like each year because they had a guy that wanted a swing arm, and then he wanted a Z-Link, and then he wanted this.
What do they call it? SA8 or something?
The SA stuff was the
Yeah.
swing arm. So they had SA 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah.
Y'all remember the name Kane Hickman, boy out of Cleveland? He was the last one to get a Warrior swing arm car. We built him a brand new one in 09. That's the last one we ever built.
Now they're bringing swing arms back in a lot of different cars, but they're changing it up. Putting swing arm on the right side, 4-bar on the left side. I think that's a pretty pretty neat little deal.
That's what we would have called a combo back in the day.
Oh, okay. My bad. I didn't know
That'd been a combo.
terms back
Yeah,
then.
that'd been a combo.
My
That'd
bad.
take some combo cages.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, really mess you up though. Like I said, that really the right rear stuff's almost Z-Link because the shock will be on the cage, not on the arm. If you go on the arm, that's true swing arm.
We did that to a car one time, didn't we?
Done that to an asphalt car.
Yeah, to an asphalt car, Z-linked it.
No, anybody listening, it really locked it down.
I was gonna say it probably stuck to the racetrack. It probably didn't turn too well.
We had a Z-link.
Well, it worked really good with scuffed tires.
Yeah, slid across the racetrack. Yeah.
What is so tell us about what's the hardest parts about building and selling race cars in today's society?
Social media. Social media. You've hit me at a good time. I've had a lot to think about here lately.
You sound like a track promoter.
I know, to sell.
Well, everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not so much that. Like I told somebody the other day, I'm my own worst enemy sometimes on sales because I don't try to sell myself. I don't try to sell my product. I just try to go perform. I still have that old mentality of if I go perform, y'all gonna call me.
Right.
But if I don't go perform, ain't nobody gonna call me. That's how you guys are. Like not many people know PPM does a lot of what y'all do. So
I'm not good at selling myself.
I'm not good at it. I'm not good.
They want you to tell them something.
Yes, they want somebody. Somebody.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
So, like, social media is not almost say like my worst enemy here lately, but it's the point of you got Flow, Dirt on Dirt, Dirt Vision. All those people see is super late model racing and who's winning, which right now is Longhorn. And then you got Rocket underneath that. Of course, those two are going to be your two that everybody gets seen to win all the time. But the thing is like all the smaller builders in Tennessee, we all win at least 100 races a year all over the country that nobody sees on Dirt, that nobody sees. So then it is up to us to put it on social media that Jim Bob in California won this weekend in a Warrior car, or California, or Washington, or Texas, or all that, you know. So I do a really good job at making my presence very known on social media. But at the same time, social media is my own worst enemy here lately as far as trying to sell cars because all they see is what's being published out there on the big stuff. What the hell was that noise?
My foot rolled off the thing.
So I mean, yeah, that's the biggest.
It's a battle. I know what you're talking about. It's a battle.
It's a battle. Like I said, I'm still kind of really old school about it, I guess, because like I said, I grew up around a lot of old school guys, and I'm gonna just try to win. And if you like what I got, come talk to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
For me, like they said, it's that mini hat type of thing. So when I get to the, like, say out my day at the shop, I get to the shop first, I got to see if I got any orders that people have sent me through Facebook because people can't call you sometimes. And then I got to see about if I got to get orders outside. That's my deal there. And then I focus on trying to get the cars built and the cars done and all that. So typically my day building cars doesn't start till 10 or 11, and then I won't cut out till 6:30, 7 at night. Yeah,
How many guys you got working with you?
just two.
Just two.
Yeah,
Including yourself?
including myself.
Daggone.
Yeah. I'm trying to get some helpers. Y'all may have seen the other day on Facebook. I was trying to get some help in there. The thing is like I want to teach people how to do what we do. But right now I'm in such a rush of trying to get stuff done that I don't need to be teaching somebody how to do things. I can teach you my process, but I don't have time to teach you how to read a tape measure or and run my saw's easy part, or stuff like that. I don't have time for that. Like that's stuff that you should have been taught before you got to me. So
You're right. You don't mind teaching somebody that's teachable,
Yep.
but a lot of times you're so busy you don't have time to do it.
yeah, you're right. Like I said, I would love to teach anybody, but right now, where I'm at in the process, and we got some cars on order, and we got to get stuff done, I need somebody that I can point them in a direction, and they can run that way, and I ain't got to stand in front of them. So,
Right.
Good luck.
yeah. Well, trust me. I mean, I had a lot of good people hit me up the
Sir,
other day.
I mean, I know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
It's having some skills, and then you can point them, and they can multitask, or they have the initiative to go. And it's hard to find that. That's a unique person.
Yeah, it is. And then in this business, too, you can't pay a ton of money. And that's always, it wears me out. That's the person's first question. How much can you pay me? Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all gave our life to this racing deal because we loved it, and then the money came versus asking how much it was going to pay and then go and do it. So it's an asinine backwards type of deal, but that's how it is.
Yeah.
Now I can pay. If sales are better. If you can help me get in here and get sales better, we can pay better.
Yeah.
Right now it is what it is. But I had a lot of good people hit me up. Don't get me wrong. Like I've got some people that I want to try out, but
Yeah.
it's very tough because we got to get in there. Like I said, I mean, I got so many hours in a day, and I got to multitask, and I can't be holding Hunter's hand here to tell him what 11/16 is on a tape measure. So
Well, I can tell you'd have to hold his hand.
Boy, just
Just letting it rip here.
daggone.
right under the bus.
Yeah, all tires run right over me here. I'm not even as wide as a bus, but they all hit me on this one. Well, thank you, Ricky. Appreciate
You're
that,
welcome.
buddy.
No problem.
Love them words of encouragement.
Backed up and got you.
Sometimes honesty promotes you getting better. He done it to build you up. See, building you up.
Oh, this is a classic case of the constructive criticism. Okay.
how
I'll
A
take it.
reality check.
I'll take it to heart. It's okay. All right.
So what does this year hold for you, as far as your, I guess Warrior, but your house cars?
So the house car stuff, that's always everybody's question. The house car stuff for me is pretty easy. I mean, we're going to have Rusty Ballinger drive my super stuff again. It works good. He's a great, loyal customer. He works on the cars. That's the thing I've always wanted to look at somebody is help me work on the cars. Help me get the cars ready because I'm spread thin every day trying to get the business going right too. So he comes by, helps work on the cars. He'll drive all my super stuff. We'll probably hit 20 super races again with it. We're going to run. We got the steel block house car too. I think we're going to run the Topless Outlaw steel block deal. Try to chase the points on it. We ran 3/4 of them last year and run really good in the points. So we'll just try to hit all of them this year. Scott's done a really good job with the points and ran enough money. Y'all had him on here. My crate stuff, you've probably seen it's kind of weird. It's more of a rental deal. So my crate program is like a tester program for people that want to come to me and say, hey, like, that's not you. You asked me earlier a question. This is kind of weird. People want to drive my cars. Like, they want to test it like it's a piece of candy or something. And like, that's okay, but I mean, damn, do you call Longhorn or Rocket and go, hey, man, can I drive your car first before I pay you some money for it?
It's a Ford 150.
Yeah, they don't. So I'm like, I mean, it's cool, but that's why I've built this crate program to be a rental program. And you want to try it out, throw me some money. And we'll go race a weekend. And if you don't like the product, that's cool. We'll shake hands and we can go about our ways. And nobody's lost anything here. But it's weird. Like, so many guys, like, they want to throw money at other builders, but they will look at me and go, can I drive one first? I don't know. It's a little weird. So that's where the crate program comes up. So we got 3 cars in-house to race with, but one of them's a rental and 2 of them's drove by Ballinger. So, yep.
I'd say y'all seen pretty good success from y'all in the topless this past year. Y'all ran
Topless-
pretty great.
Yeah, the topless stuff our steel block stuff's really good. I mean, it is fantastic. If we had as much time in the super stuff as we could in the topless stuff of Ballinger, I think we could compete for wins easily in the super stuff too. But our budget allows us to take that steel block car and go race with it a whole lot more than our super budget does. So that's where we're at. I mean, if we got some bit more backers, we'd go run full Lucas Tour if we could. I mean, I wouldn't care one bit to go do it. But our budget right now allows us to go.
Back when we had our car, somebody asked me, said, what do you need to get better? I said, time.
Yeah.
He said, well, how you do that? I said, you find somebody good to maintain this car to where me and Ray can work on the other stuff and work at the shop.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we got a good kid that helps us. Riley, he's in high school. I always say we've had Riley. Like Riley's been with us for like 5 or 6 years, and ever since he was a little kid. And he's a kid now that's 16 years old. I say, hey man, take that motor out, and I wouldn't even blink. Right. So we got a good person to help us maintain cars and all that. And you're right. Like when he can come in the shop during the week and help us, it allows us to work on suspension and work on getting faster. But you're right. The weeks that we don't get to and we're just like struggling to wash this thing, that's when we're gonna suck somewhere. But we're just gonna go to the racetrack and try to get better.
Well, when we was racing, we had a guy that come and stayed down here with us, Trevor. And him and Skyler would fuss back and forth with each other, and I'd fuss, and I'd look at Skyler and say, hush. He says, why? He could do more. I said, but what he's doing, you don't have no idea how much he's helping me and Ray.
He's helping you climb a mountain that
Yeah.
you're not able to climb by yourself.
You're right.
I said, you're probably right, he can do more, but don't run him off because what he is doing is helping.
Yeah, that little bit is actually a lot at the end of the day. Because your plate's already full, and then you're going to put a little bit and we're going to drop the plate. So
That time is, money's going to always be a problem in racing.
you're right.
But time's an issue too, for especially people that actually have a lot of your customers are people who work for a living, and time is an issue for them because just to get the car prepared, and
Yep.
and I encourage series racers, promoters and stuff to look at that. That would help racers.
It would. Racing 2 times a month on like something like what Scott Pass and them guys are doing is plenty. Now when a regional series gets into racing 3 and 4 weeks, I'm with you. I'm like, why are we doing this? This is regional racing. This is the working man that normally does this. So why are we trying to kill this guy?
Yeah.
Like two times a month is pretty good for a regional series. And you're right. Help is where it's at. You got to have it because you can't get no more time. I mean, if anybody knows me out there, they know I try to get 23 hours out of the day and maybe an hour of sleep. So if I could get 25, I'd do 24. So there's never enough hours in the day.
No, there's not.
Never enough. But that is the only way you get better is just through time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next.
Guys, I'm going to kick y'all over to the product spotlight of this podcast. Today's product spotlight is going to be our body brace kits. We offer left and right sides on your left is made out of 1/8-inch aluminum. They're already pre-bent and pre-drilled to your car needs. On the right side, you have 2 90-degree pieces for your doors, and then you have a 45 and a 90-degree piece for your quarter panel. Also have a 90-degree piece for your flopper. On the right side, you have your C-channel brace for the flopper, 145-degree piece for the bottom of your door. We do offer a spare piece for the upper door if you want it. It's made out of 1/8-inch aluminum as well. It's at a 90-degree angle. You also get your bottom and top quarter pieces, 145 and 190. Don't worry, we also have that right side in a heavy. It comes in a 1/4 inch and all of that, except the top quarter piece is made out of the original 1/8-inch aluminum. You can get these kits today at ppmracingproducts.com or call us at 865-354-9669 and get yours today. Also, we are offering powder coating in these for extra cost. Call for pricing. Mr. Mike?
That was quite impressive.
Thank you, sir.
That's pretty good. Hey,
Can you say that again?
I would have forgot the phone number. I never call myself.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's something else.
Hey, we use that heavy right side bracing though. It works.
It does.
Steel block car was straight all year long, and that steel block racing is full contact, like crate racing. It worked good.
It's good to know.
Yeah, it's good.
Thank you. Mr. Mike, so closing here, tell us, what does the future of Warrior look like?
The future Warrior looks like that
Or what do you
It's going to
plan?
be around for another 30 years. That's the whole thing. I mean, somebody's at your house.
Yeah,
Thought that was mine for a minute, but like, no, mine's off.
yeah. The state of Warrior.
Yeah, like the state of Warrior. Tell him you can call him in a little bit.
Kyle, I'll call you here in a little bit.
As you see, I'm random as shit when I do all this.
Totally unprofessional.
Totally unprofessional.
When he watches this, he's going to be like, "Dang,
Let him tell us the state of Warrior.
Like, I mean, just the state of Warrior is like when I bought it, like we had zero to do. It's the worst business plan. Like we had zero chassis to build. If I would have went to a bank and said, "Hey, I'm gonna buy a business," I had shit to do. They wouldn't have given me no money for it. It's how bad the business plan was. But I knew that I had 30 years worth of business to lean on once I was able to get my hands on it. So that was the biggest thing, is to get it and then try to build it. What everybody says back to prominence. Well, for us, getting it back to prominence was just getting people to call us and order race cars. And within 5 years of that, now we're building 15, 20 a year. That's plenty enough for me. I mean, I went from 0 to 15 to 20, and constant daily phone calls, quoting cars, selling parts. That was the goal. And everybody's got a 5, 10 plan, whatever. Well, like, hell, the 10-year plan was to get to where I am now. So, like, now I've got to start working on another 10-year plan. I mean, the plan for me is I do need to get back on a tour and get to racing in some form or fashion on a big tour. I mean, that's where, like I said earlier, if we're on the flows, we're on dirt on dirts. Years ago, we could go and run dead last in a Lucas race, and my phone would ring all week long. This is what's the crazy flip side about the chassis stuff, is that I can run dead last in the Lucas race. People call and ask about car prices. Go run top 5 in a regional show that nobody's seen on Flow. Ain't nobody called. They're like, "Oh, how'd you do this weekend?" "Oh, okay, cool." Like, they have to find out from me how we did this weekend. Yeah. So, but the goal was I'm already there. So now I've got to figure out some next 10-year plans. But the end goal is it never goes away. I grew up loving Warrior race cars. My dad ran them. I was in there all my life, and I was able to purchase it. So now I've got it. Now I need to make sure it doesn't go away.
So I will say that what I like about the 15 to 20 quantity, you're getting a quality product. You know what I'm saying?
You're totally right.
You're getting 15, and you're getting. And people ask me all the time, what kind of? And for years they say, what kind of car would you buy? What kind? And I always tell them this: I would buy a car that you can get help with. So at that quantity, you've got help too.
Well, that's like I said. I was just at Volusia this week with customers. I mean, I was able to stop, get
That's
everything
huge.
lined up, and go to Volusia this week. You know, and I could help those 2 guys. I only had 2 guys there, but I made those guys as like weak just by being there, being in their trailers with them all week long, guiding them. One guy made the 602 race. The other guy was timid, missed it by 2 spots on 604, but there were 75 604 cars. So, I mean, missed it by 2. I mean, it was close. So,
Yeah, but you don't know how much that changes their whole season.
Exactly.
You being there one weekend with them.
and actually,
Help
the guy that made the 602 race, I stumbled across something that he'd been doing wrong for a couple of weeks on his car. Like, he went to Golden Isles and raced and practiced in between there, and he just had one little thing off, and it just fixed it. Just because it was just me looking at it and lined it up. So, yeah, but the goal for Warrior is just to always still be around no matter what. Like, to be up there when somebody looks at the chassis list and goes, "I'm going to call that guy." Or, "I want to call this guy, at least see how much that car costs." Not to be not thought of.
You know what I'm hearing? You get up every day and compete.
Yeah, that's all it is, man. You can get up every day and compete. You probably see some of that stuff I share here lately on like TikTok and stuff. It's pretty hardcore to like get up and get shit done.
It's a fact.
Yeah.
He may accompany him to his attitude. I was sitting there thinking about it. He may be around longer than some of the others that you think will be around. He may still be kicking.
So I was at PRI and sitting with a very prominent chassis company owner. And we're sitting there talking, and I asked him, I was like, "You're building 300 a year right now. What's your goal?" He's like, "Man, so when everybody switches, that I have enough used cars out there, I can do what you're doing." He's like, "That I have enough used cars that I can keep selling parts when everybody goes the opposite direction when the next new thing shows up, and I don't have to fire all these people that I got on hand." That's his goal, is to do what I like achieved. So I'm thinking, why do I need to try to run this guy down when he's building 300 right now, but he's already thinking for when he don't build 300. I'm just going to keep building 15 to 20, and you're right, I can still talk on the phone and help people and go to the racetrack and don't have to.
It's simple business when you're building 300 a year. You have to build so many before you ever start making money, because you've probably got 30 to 40 employees.
40.
Yeah.
40 is what they got.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't envy them. I'm friends with all them big chassis builders. But I don't envy them at all. A lot of people think I do. A lot of people, what's your goal to be like Longhorn Rock? I'm like, I don't want to. I'm good. Like, I actually was able to buy a business that built 200 a year at one point because they just let it go. So, I mean, I don't have that goal to go back there. I can build a car. I
hear what I hear is it's the Barry Wright model.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked to Lance and Barry about their stuff, and my whole, I guess you call them a business model, really come from. I sat down with David Stremme when I was in the alignment of trying to buy this thing. We just happened to go through PRI time and all that. So I sat down and talked to David about his business model because I'd seen him talking about it before, and he started out and done 15, and then everybody wanted this stuff because it was really good, and he went to 45 to 50 the second year, couldn't keep up. Right. And then just went back to like, okay, I'm only going to build this many per year, and they stayed to that business model now for however long he's been in business, and it's worked for him. And the profit margin is the same on a small amount, really. It's a big amount because employees, overhead.
That's the way it is in any business. You either got to be small or you got to be big to overcome to make it work.
Yeah, and I look at them guys. I feel like they got more headaches than I do every day. I mean, my headaches are the same ones, but I feel like they're bigger headaches.
Yeah, I've got plenty of headaches here too.
God. I'm just picking on you because they do. I really do.
That's why you brought that big bottle of ibuprofen in the other day.
That's a fact. Yes. Like, I wonder who I can give one to today.
You're not to the point where you eat like 8 of them every morning?
About 4, 3, 4? Something like that.
Four should be your max.
I don't know.
I think it's about 3.
Up there about 2 o'clock, he give me a look like.
I'm going to go to the racetrack and somebody's going to get on to me and want to fight because me giving Hunter a hard time. I already see it happening.
Ain't nobody going to defend me like that.
Why you give that kid such a hard time?
Mr. Mike, the last question I want to ask you here before we get off here. Who is all the people that you want to thank, past, present, all of it? Who would you like to thank for where you're at today?
Well, I mean, first off, I got to thank my wife. She puts up with all this crap that we do. I mean, at one point when I was racing with King, we were gone 65, 70 times a year. Plus then I was going to test my customers, and like my racing calendar would be like 90 something times a year at a racetrack. And she puts up with all of it. Now she loves it and the kids love it, but I got to thank them the utmost because I mean, like I called her and was like, hey, I'm going to PPM to a podcast. She's like, okay, cool. Let me know when you're on your way back. So big thanks to my wife and the kids and all that. But really,
how many kids you got?
So got 2 boys, Hunter and Turner, 16 and 14. And then will be 1-year-old in 2 weeks. So at 38 years old, started over. That's what happens when you don't go to Eldora one time. Okay, go to vacation one time. That's what happens.
A little inside information.
Always go to Eldora.
Always go to Eldora.
Always go to the Dream. Okay. You stay busy when you're racing. Okay. But I would tell you though, I mean, we got a little girl out of it now, and it's crazy how much she's changed me. I know y'all don't know me like really personally, but wound up human being I can be in the past years just like flipped me the opposite direction. So it's one time to Eldora, we got a kid out of it, but I love it. Though. It's amazing how much she's changed. And then 2 boys, like I said, they love it. They've grown up around this deal, so this is all they know.
Yeah,
this is all they know. But really, just thank everybody that's ever been behind me. Anybody that calls me, talks to me, is a customer, buys anything from me, thank you, because, I mean, you keep it going. I mean, I wake up every day to do this, but it's everybody else out there in the world that keeps it going, you know. And like I said, thanks to Sanford for allowing me to be in the position I'm in. If it wasn't for him and his brothers, when it come time, they were like, okay, there you go, let's sell this to Mike. They could have just ended it. Said, no, we don't want to do nothing with it, shut it down, we're done.
Yeah.
But they were like, no, we want our legacy to keep going, and, you know, he's the one who knows it, so. You know, I got to thank the Goddard family for doing that, and the King family too. For Brian King took me on the road for 7 years and allowed me and his son just to spend all kinds of money. And sometimes we were terrible, sometimes we were good. And he helped me develop a race car that we sell, you know, now. And we spent a lot of Brian King's money doing that. So really appreciative to him for doing that and everything he helped me push along. So
absolutely,
all good people you mentioned there.
Yeah, I mean, I surround myself with good people. Always.
The best philosophy to do that.
No, it is. It is.
They say you act like who you're surrounded by. That's why I keep myself in good company here, boys. Okay, Rick, I see. All right.
I don't know if feeling's mutual, Hunter.
It's not. I seen the look on his face. It's not. It's okay.
Man, I do appreciate you guys too, though. Because I mean, when I bought Warrior race cars, y'all could have just been like, "Nope, starting you over from scratch." But I mean, I was allowed to keep carrying on just as like nothing happened, and you all have been very open to everything I need and supply me with. And my last minute 3:30 calls to box stuff up and get it to me tomorrow, and putting up with me knocking on the door at 8:00 in the morning, waiting on you to get here, pulling the parking lot, and all that. I mean, I'm a very random one-person deal, so.
When FedEx actually picks up, you usually get it the next day.
Yeah, I'll get it. Yeah. Hey, I would tell you, y'all sent Spencer to me that day. I felt like I needed to tip Spencer because he was just lost roaming up to my door on my camera and all that. So. I mean, my shop is in the middle of nowhere, and he's like, "Man, I had to go through all them back roads to get there," and kind of felt bad.
Did you see Spencer over there?
I did.
I'm just glad he got there.
I'm just glad he got back.
He said he had to go to the mall or something over there, so he's like, "I can go." And I was like, "All right, buddy, have
There's
at
like
it."
2 stores in our mall.
He must like one of them really bad because he's been planning on going there a while.
But yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good partners like you guys in my product stuff that helps make my business go around too. I mean, it takes all of us to make this deal happen. It's like raising a child. It takes the whole community to make sure that Warrior race cars can go. It's not just me. So
Yeah.
I'm just the one who just like points everything in the right direction and keeps it going. So
Well, guys, that's where we're going to end this podcast right here. If you want to, go check out Warrior Race Cars on Facebook. And you got a website, right?
I do got a website. It's GoddardWarrior.net. Still shares the old name of the old owners, but yeah, GoddardWarrior.net is the website. It's mainly just for setup stuff. Facebook and social media is where everything's at. We got Facebook, Twitter is Knuckles42, Instagram's Knuckles42, TikTok is Warrior Race Cars, and Facebook's Warrior Race Cars. Or find me personally on Facebook at Mike Nuchols.
Yep. So if you want to look into Warrior Race Cars, check him out on all those social media platforms. And if you're looking to buy a Warrior Race Car, get with Mr. Mike here, and he can get you set up. But as for your regular stuff that we talked to you about here, if you want to get any racing products, go to ppmracingproducts.com. We have a brand new 2025 catalog now that you can request on the request catalog form on the website. Not to mention, guys, if you haven't already, check out our PDF white pages, as we also have a new thing coming out this year. It's called Team PPM. It is a free membership, exclusive discounts, exclusive parts to where you can get them seen before anybody else. So get with us on that if you want to apply for that for this upcoming season. It is only from the January 1st to December 31st. And then if you want to give us a call and order any parts or have any tech questions for any of your help needs, call us at 865-354-9669. Mr. Mike, buddy, we greatly appreciate you coming on here, giving these people insight on you and Warrior race cars. Warrior holds a high standard and a high name in the racing community. So we're glad to be here with you and let you explain to these people what you're
I appreciate
about.
it. I appreciate it. I'm trying to. Like I tell everybody, I could have had to start over from scratch and built Mike chassis or something, but I'm glad to carry on what them guys built ahead of me and make them proud. And it's just kind of weird. Like I wake up to make sure that their name carries on every single day, and then eventually it'll be me, but I'm not worried about that right now. Just that the Warrior race car carries on and everybody knows what it is. So.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So, guys, thank you all for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, comment down below who else you'd like to see on the podcast, or let us know what you think on here. And, guys, thank you for watching. We will see y'all in the next one.
Hey, subscribe, like.
Hit that button.
Come on, get it up on the wheel. Go in there. You just smell poop or see Jesus. Let's get it done.